Welcome to the Oracle's Rest, a place where stories unfold slowly, where time softens, and where the mind is free to wander. Tonight, we turn our attention to your own body and to the quiet, patient healing it is about to begin, all through the long, dark hours of the night. For as you lie here, settling towards sleep, your body is preparing for one of the most important tasks of its day, the task of repairing itself. All through the night, while you rest and know nothing of it, your body will be at work, mending what the day has worn, rebuilding what has been used up, healing, restoring, renewing you from within. Tonight, we drift gently through one of the most soothing truths in all of nature, that sleep is not idle at all, but is the time when the body heals. Tonight, we ask softly how the body heals while you sleep. Think for a moment of all that your body did today. It carried you through the hours. It moved you from place to place, lifted and reached and walked. It digested your food and pumped your blood and drew each breath. Its countless cells labored all day long, spending energy, wearing a little at the edges, taking on the small damages that come simply from living, from moving, from being awake and active in the world. A day of life leaves its marks upon the body, tiny and unseen, a wearing down that must somehow be mended. This is not a sign that anything is wrong. It is simply the ordinary cost of living, of moving through a day. And the body has always known how to pay it, quietly in the night. And the mending happens more than at any other time. Now, in the dark, while you sleep. For a long time, people thought of sleep as a kind of nothing, an empty pause, a switching off of the body until morning. But that is not what sleep is at all. Sleep is one of the busiest and most productive times in the whole life of the body. When you lie down and close your eyes and drift away, you are not shutting your body down. You are handing it over to its night shift, to the quiet crew of repair that cannot do its finest work until you are still and resting and out of its way. The day is for living. The night is for healing. There is a wisdom in this division of the body's labor, this splitting of its life into two great shifts. It cannot do everything at once. It cannot fully live and fully mend at the same time. For both take energy and resources and attention, and a body pouring itself into the business of the day has little to spare for deep repair. And so, long ago, life struck a kind of bargain with itself. It would spend the daylight hours living, moving, working, being awake in the world, and it would keep the great work of repair for the night, when the living could pause and the body could turn inward and heal in peace. 2 shifts, dividing the whole of a life between them, the waking shift and the healing shift, the day and the night. And your body knows when night has come, for it carries within it a clock. Deep in the brain there sits a kind of master timekeeper, a small cluster of cells that keeps track of the rhythm of day and night, and sets the pace for the whole body. This inner clock takes its cue above all from light, from the brightening of morning and the darkening of evening, when darkness falls and the light fades from your eyes. The clock understands that night has come, and it begins to prepare the body for sleep and for all the work that sleep will bring. And this clock does not keep time alone. It turns out that nearly every organ of the body, and indeed nearly every single cell, carries a little clock of its own, a tiny rhythm ticking away inside it, keeping its own quiet sense of day and night. The master clock in the brain acts like the conductor of a vast orchestra, holding all these countless smaller clocks in time with one another, and in time with the turning of the world outside. And these clocks matter because the body does not do everything at all hours. It schedules its work. Certain tasks are set for the day, and certain tasks, above all the tasks of repair and restoration, are set for the night. The body, in its deep wisdom, has arranged its healing to happen while we sleep, and its clocks make sure that when night falls, the great repair shift knows that it is time to begin. This is part of why sleeping against the clock in the daytime or at odd and shifting hours never feels quite so restoring, for the body's own rhythm is set to heal in the dark. One of the first things it does is to send out a gentle signal, a hormone called melatonin, which rises in the blood as the darkness deepens. Melatonin is the body's quiet announcement of the night. It does not force you to sleep so much as it whispers to every part of you that the time for rest has come, that the day is over, that the long work of the night may begin. As melatonin rises in the darkness, a soft drowsiness comes over you, a heaviness, a willingness to let go. It is the body dimming its own lights, one by one, preparing for the dark hours of repair. This messenger of the dark comes from a tiny gland deep within, the brain, no bigger than a grain of rice, which pours out its melatonin only when the light is gone. In the brightness of day, it stays quiet, and the blood holds almost none. But as evening comes and the light dies away, it begins its work, and all through the night it keeps up its gentle signal, telling the body over and over that it is night now. It is night. It is time to rest and to mend. This is one reason that soft darkness helps us sleep so well, and that bright light late at night can hold sleep at bay. For light itself reaches back to that little gland and quiets it, while darkness sets it free. The body has waited all through its long history for the darkness to fall, and reads in that darkness the ancient signal to begin its healing. There is another reason we grow sleepy as the day wears on, quite apart from the falling dark. All through our waking hours, as the body and brain go about their work, a kind of tiredness slowly gathers within us, a substance building up in the brain, hour by hour, that presses upon us more and more heavily the longer we stay awake. We feel it as the growing weight of sleepiness, the mounting need for rest that deepens through a long day, until by night it lies heavy upon us and will not be denied. This is the body keeping its own quiet account of how long it has been awake and how much rest it is owed. And one of the gentle tasks of sleep is to clear this gathered tiredness away, to dissolve it through the night so that we wake with the account settled, the heaviness lifted, fresh and light and ready once more, the longer and harder the day. The more this weight builds, and the more deeply afterward we sleep, and other changes come with it, all of them turning the body gently toward rest and healing. Your body temperature, which runs a little warmer by day, begins to fall as night comes on, cooling slightly, sinking to its lowest in the deep hours before dawn. This cooling is part of the rhythm of sleep, and the body seeks it which is why we rest more easily in a cool, dark room than a warm, bright one. The hormones of stress and alertness, which keep us sharp and ready through the day, ebb away as night deepens, falling to their lowest in the quiet middle of the night, so that the body is released for a while from the tension of being awake and on guard. Everything in you slows and softens and turns inward toward the work of mending. That gentle cooling of the body at night is worth a moment's notice, for it is more helpful than it seems. As the core of the body cools, sleep comes more easily and runs more deeply, which is why a cool, dark, quiet room is such a friend to good rest, and why we often sleep poorly when we are too warm. The body lowers its own temperature as part of its preparation for the night, banking its fires, settling toward the still, cool depths of deep sleep in which so much of its healing will be done. Coolness and darkness together are the body's oldest signals that the time for rest and for repair has come. There is a quiet daily tide to these stress hormones, worth knowing as you settle down. The chief of them runs high in the morning, giving us the lift we need to rise and face the day, and then falls slowly through the afternoon and the evening, sinking to its very lowest in the still hours around midnight, when the body is meant to be deep in its healing sleep. Then, in the last hours before dawn, it begins to rise once more, gently, gathering to lift us toward waking. So the body's own chemistry rocks us down into rest at night and lifts us back up in the morning. A slow rise and fall as steady as the tides, timed so that the deepest, most restful, most healing part of our sleep falls in the darkest and quietest heart of the night. Now, let us follow that work and see what the healing body actually does in the dark. And perhaps the most wonderful place to begin is with growth, for it is a simple and beautiful truth that we do much of our growing and much of our repairing while we sleep. During the deepest stages of sleep, the body releases a surge of a special substance, a hormone whose very name is the growth hormone, which flows out into the body and sets in motion the building and rebuilding of tissue. It is released in its greatest pulse in the first deep sleep of the night, poured out into the blood while you lie in the soundest slumber, and it travels through the body, carrying its quiet command to grow, to repair, to renew. In children, this is easy to see, for children truly do grow in their sleep, adding to their bones and their bodies most of all in the night, so that the old idea that a child grows while sleeping is quite literally true. A sleeping child is a growing child, lengthening and strengthening in the dark. But this same hormone, this same building force, does its work in grown bodies too. Not to make us taller, but to mend us. For in the adult, the growth hormone of sleep turns its power to repair, to the healing of tissues, the rebuilding of muscle, the mending of the small daily wear of the body, whether we are growing or grown. The deep sleep of the night is when the body builds. This building hormone comes from a small gland at the base of the brain, and though the body makes it in little amounts here and there through the day, by far its greatest release comes in the deep sleep of the early night, in a single great pulse poured out soon after we fall asleep. This is one of the reasons those first hours of deep sleep are so precious, and why sleep that is cut short or badly broken can rob the body of some of its building and mending. For if the deep early sleep is lost, so too is much of that great nightly surge of growth and repair. The body times its building for the moment when it can be most still, most undisturbed, most deeply at rest. It waits for the deepest sleep, and then it builds. Growth is not the only healing gift that sleep sends coursing through the body. In the deep hours of the night, the body releases other messengers as well, quiet chemical signals that ready the tissues for repair, that summon the building of new cells, that turn the body's whole effort toward renewal. Some of these rise and fall with the stages of sleep, keyed to the deepest slumber, so that the chemistry of healing and the chemistry of deep sleep are woven tightly together, the one calling forth the other. It is as though, when the body sinks into its soundest rest, it throws open all the gates of repair at once and lets the healing pour through. Nowhere is the healing and building power of sleep more plainly at work than in the very young. A newborn baby sleeps for the greater part of the day and night, far more than it ever will again in its whole life, and with good reason, for it has an enormous amount of growing and building to do, and it does so much of that work asleep. Its little body is lengthening. Its brain is wiring itself. Its every part is forming and strengthening at a pace it will never match again. And sleep is the workshop in which so much of that making is done. This is why babies and small children need so much more sleep than grown people, and why they sink into it so deeply. For the more a body has to build, the more it must sleep to build it. From the very first days of life, sleep and growth go hand in hand, and the sleeping child is a child hard at the quiet work of becoming down at the level of the cells, the tiny building blocks of which the whole body is made. The night is a time of great activity. Through the day, cells accumulate small damage and use up their parts and generate waste. And during sleep, freed from the demands of a busy waking body, the cells turn to their own maintenance. They repair the damage of the day. They build new proteins, the very stuff of which the body is made and remade. They divide and renew themselves, replacing what is old and worn with what is fresh. In many parts of the body, this renewal of cells, this dividing and replacing, reaches its peak in the night, so that we are, in a real sense, remade a little each time we sleep, our worn parts quietly exchanged for new ones in the dark. There is a discovery from recent years that shows just how deep this repair reaches, right down into the very heart of the cell, into the delicate strands that carry the instructions of life itself. Through the day, as cells go about their busy work, tiny bits of damage build up even within these precious strands. And scientists have found signs that during sleep, the cells set about repairing that damage, mending the fine threads of their inner instructions, patching the small breaks and wear that the waking day had caused. It seems that some of this most delicate repair of all can only be done properly when the cell is at rest, when the body is asleep. So the healing of sleep reaches not only to the skin and the muscle and the bone, but all the way down into the innermost workings of the cell, to the very code of life, quietly mended in the dark. Consider for a moment the sheer scale of this. Your body is made of a number of cells almost beyond imagining, tens of trillions of them, each one a tiny living thing in its own right, each one taking on the small wear of the day, each one in need of tending, And in the night, across that vast, unseen multitude, the quiet work of repair goes on all at once, in every corner of you, in tissues you will never see and never think about. A healing so widespread and so intricate that no mind could ever hope to direct it. It simply happens everywhere in you, all together, in the dark. The body knows how to mend itself on a scale we cannot even picture, and it does so silently, faithfully, every single night, tending the countless small lives of which your one life is made. You can see the results of this nightly renewal most plainly, perhaps in the skin, that great outer covering of the body, which meets the world all day long. The skin takes a beating through the waking hours, exposed to sun and wind and dryness and the wear of the day. And at night, it sets about repairing itself. During sleep, the skin quickens its renewal, making new cells, repairing damage, restoring itself for the day to come. The blood flows richly to the skin at night, bringing what it needs to mend. This is the simple truth behind the old idea of beauty sleep, for it is not a mere saying. A well-rested body really does show in the skin, because the skin has had its full night to heal, to renew, to make itself new again in the dark. We wake, quite truly, with a fresher face than we lay down with. There is even a small science behind the tired face of a sleepless night. When we go without enough sleep, it shows, and not only to ourselves, for others can see it too, in the paleness, the shadowed eyes, the weary look that a lack of sleep leaves upon us. Scientists have found that people who have not slept enough are seen by others as looking more tired and less well. And this is no mere fancy, for the skin truly has been denied its nightly repair. The body builds much of the substance that keeps the skin firm and supple during sleep, and quickens the flow of blood to the skin in the night, and loses and replaces its moisture on its own nightly rhythm. Give the skin its full night of rest, and it repays you in the morning, renewed. It really is, in the plainest and most literal sense, beauty, sleep. The same slow renewal shows itself in the hair and the nails, which are made of the body's tissue too, and which keep quietly growing through the night as the body builds. Everywhere that the body renews its outer surfaces, sheds the old and grows the new. It leans upon the quiet hours of sleep to do so, little by little, cell by cell. The body is always remaking its own covering, replacing what the world has worn away. And much of that patient remaking happens in the dark, while we lie still and the skin and the hair grow on without us. Perhaps the greatest of all the healing works of sleep is the strengthening of the body's defenses, its immune system, the vast and intricate army that guards you against sickness. For sleep and the immune system are the closest of allies, and much of the body's defending and healing happens while you rest. During sleep, the body produces and releases certain protective substances that help it fight infection and calm inflammation, marshalling its forces in the quiet of the night. The cells that hunt down invaders and clear away damage do much of their patient work while the body sleeps. A night of good sleep leaves the body's defenses strong and ready. A night of poor sleep leaves them weakened, which is why we so often fall ill when we are tired and run down, and why good sleep is one of the surest ways to keep well. Scientists have shown this alliance between sleep and the body's defenses in careful and striking ways. When people are given a vaccine, which teaches the body to defend itself against a disease, those who sleep well afterward tend to build up a stronger and more lasting defense than those who are kept from their rest. For the body does much of its learning of defense while it sleeps, and when volunteers have been gently exposed to the germs of a common cold, those who had slept too little in the nights before were found to fall ill far more readily than those who had slept well, their weary defenses no longer able to hold the line. The lesson is a gentle and a hopeful one. Sleep is one of the finest medicines the body has, freely given, asking nothing, quietly strengthening the walls and gathering the guards that keep us well. To sleep, in a real sense, is to defend yourself in the surest and most natural way there is. Something else happens to the body's guardians in the night. That is quietly remarkable. The cells that defend us, which patrol the blood by day, hunting for trouble, use the hours of sleep to do a different kind of work, gathering, resting, and readying themselves, and slipping into the tissues to seek out anything amiss. It is as though the daytime is for the patrol and the night is for the deeper work of defense, the mustering and the mending that keep the whole system strong. A body that sleeps well keeps its guardians well, rested and ready and in good order. And a body whose guardians are in good order is a body that heals quickly, resists sickness, and stays night after night, quietly, well. You have felt this alliance yourself whenever you have been sick. For when illness comes, one of the first things it brings is an overwhelming urge to sleep. This is no accident and no weakness. It is the body's own wisdom. When you are fighting an infection, your body deliberately makes you drowsy, pressing you to lie down and rest, because it knows that sleep is when it heals, and it wants all your strength turned to the fight. The heavy sleepiness of sickness is the body clearing its schedule, sending you to bed so that it can do the hard work of healing without distraction. When we are ill, we are told to rest, and there is deep truth in that old advice. For rest is when the mending is done, and it is not only against sickness that sleep heals, it is against injury too. A wound heals faster in a well-rested body than in a weary one. The knitting together of hurt tissue, the closing of a cut, the mending of a bruise or a strain, all of it goes better and quicker when the body is given its full measure of sleep. For all these repairs draw upon the same nightly powers, the growth hormone, the cell renewal, the rich flow of blood, the quiet, undistracted hours in which the body can turn its attention inward and mend. To heal well, the body must sleep well. Rest truly is a medicine, perhaps the oldest and gentlest medicine there is. Scientists have watched this happen, measuring how quickly small wounds mend in people who sleep well, and in those who do not, and finding again and again that rest speeds the healing. This is part of the deep wisdom behind the old practice of taking to one's bed to recover, of resting through an illness or an injury rather than pushing on. For centuries, long before anyone understood why, healers knew that rest was the surest path back to health, and they were right. The body cannot do its finest mending while it is busy carrying us through a demanding day. It needs us to stop, to lie down, to sleep, and only then can it turn the full force of its healing upon the hurt. Rest is not the absence of healing. Rest is the very condition of it. In a sense, the body carries its own physician within it, a healer that needs no summoning and no fee, that works the night shift faithfully in every one of us. It sets the broken, mends the torn, cleanses the wound, strengthens the weak, and asks for nothing but darkness and rest in which to do its work. No medicine we have ever made can quite match the quiet completeness of it. This healing woven into the very design of a living body, older than any doctor, surer than any cure. And it is yours, entirely, freely, for as long as you live. All it asks of you, tonight and every night, is that you lie down and let the darkness fall and give it the hours it needs. The muscles, too, are mended and made strong in sleep. When we work our muscles through the day, in labor or in exercise, we create in them countless tiny strains and micro tears, small damages that are a normal part of use. And it is not during the exercise itself, but afterward, in rest, and especially in sleep, that the muscle repairs those tiny tears and rebuilds itself, a little stronger than before. This is why those who train their bodies hard know that sleep is as important as the training, for the strength is not built in the effort, but in the recovery, in the deep sleep that comes after. The athlete grows stronger, not in the gym, but in the bed, in the long, healing hours of the night. This is a truth that the finest athletes in the world have come to understand, that sleep is not time away from their training, but a part of it, perhaps the most important part of all. Studies of athletes have shown that when they sleep longer and more deeply, they grow faster and stronger and more sure in their movements. Their bodies quicker to recover and less prone to injury. The hard effort of the day breaks the body down a little, and it is the sleep of the night that builds it back up and builds it back stronger. And this holds true not only for athletes, but for all of us in the ordinary use of our bodies. Every time we tire ourselves in work or in play or in simple living, it is in the healing hours of sleep that we recover and rise the next day ready to begin again. And it is not only the muscles that recover in this way, but all the working parts of the moving body, the tendons and the joints and the soft connective tissues that bear us up and let us move. All day they are stretched and loaded and worn, and all night in rest. They are eased and repaired. The tiny damages of use quietly made good. This is part of why a body that is never allowed enough sleep grows sore and stiff and slow to recover, and why a well-rested body feels loose and easy and strong. The whole moving frame of us, like everything else, is mended in the stillness of the night, so that we may rise and move freely once more in the morning, while all this mending goes on in the flesh. The great engine of the body, the heart, is given a rare and precious rest of its own. All day long the heart labours, beating faster, working harder, driving the blood through the body to meet the demands of a waking, moving life. But at night, as you sink into sleep, the heart is allowed at last to slow. Your heartbeat grows slower and steadier in deep sleep. The pressure of the blood against the vessels eases and falls. For a few hours, the whole tireless system of the heart and the blood vessels is permitted to work more gently, to rest from the strain of the day. And this nightly rest is a great gift to the heart, a lightening of its endless labour, a chance to recover, so that it may take up its work again, refreshed in the morning. This nightly easing of the heart follows the same deep rhythm as everything else. As you pass down into sleep, the pressure of your blood falls, dipping to its lowest in the deep hours of the night, before rising gently again toward morning to ready you for the day. This nightly dip is a natural and a healthy thing, a rest that the heart and the blood vessels are meant to have, a loosening of the pressure they carry all day long. It is one of the quiet reasons that good sleep, night after night, is so kind to the heart and so much a part of a long and healthy life. The heart, which never truly stops, which beats on faithfully through every hour of our lives, is given in sleep its nearest thing to rest, a gentler and a slower beat through the long, dark middle of the night. And even as the heart beats more gently, the blood it moves is busy with the work of repair. For the blood is the great river of the body, carrying everywhere the materials of healing, the building blocks of new tissue, the nourishment the cells need to mend themselves, the messengers and the defenders and the menders, all borne along on the current to wherever they are needed. All through the night, this quiet river flows, delivering to every corner of the body what it needs to make its repairs, and carrying away what must be cleared. To many tissues, the blood flows more richly in the night than in the day, bringing a fuller measure of all that healing requires. The body does not only rest in sleep, it supplies itself, feeds itself, tends itself, sending the very stuff of repair along its inner rivers to every place that needs mending. And the blood itself is forever being renewed, its countless cells worn out and replaced in a ceaseless, quiet turnover, much of it carried on in the hidden marrow deep within the bones, which labours through the night, making the fresh red cells that carry our breath and the pale cells that guard our health, even the river of the blood, then is remade as it flows, its worn parts retired and its new ones sent out, so that the very stream that carries the healing everywhere is itself, night by night, quietly healed and renewed. Your breathing, too, slows and settles into a deep and even rhythm. The muscles of the body relax more and more deeply as the night goes on, releasing the tension they have held all day. In the dreaming stage of sleep, the body relaxes so completely that the muscles are all but switched off, lying utterly still and at ease. The whole body, from the great muscles of the limbs to the small ones of the face, is allowed to let go, to soften, to rest as it can rest at no other time. And in that deep relaxation, the tension and the strain of the day drain slowly away. There is a deep relief in this letting go, even if we are not awake to feel it. All through the day, the body holds itself, braced and ready, its muscles quietly working even when we are still, keeping us upright, keeping us poised and in sleep. At last, it is allowed to set that burden down. The jaw unclenches, the shoulders drop, the hands fall open, the long-held tension of the day, gathered in 100 small places we hardly notice, is slowly released into the mattress and the dark. The body, which has carried us faithfully all day long, is finally allowed simply to be carried, held by the bed, held by the night, resting as completely as it is able to rest. Even the pace of life within slows in the night. The body burns its energy a little more gently while we sleep, its inner fires banked low, its workings quieted to the soft, steady minimum needed to keep us alive and to fuel the night's repairs. The breath comes slow and even. The pulse beats calm. Everything runs quieter, cooler, softer, turned down to the gentle idle of deep rest. And in that lowered, quieted state, with so little spent upon the business of living, the body has all the more to give to the business of healing, pouring its spared strength into the mending of itself through the long, still hours. The body uses the night to restore its energy as well, to refill the stores that the day has spent. Through the waking hours, the body and the brain burn through their fuel, drawing down their reserves of energy. And during sleep, those reserves are quietly replenished, the fuel restocked, the stores refilled, so that we wake with a full tank, ready for another day. It is a little like a great house at night, when the work of the day is done, and the quiet crews come out to restock the shelves and mend what is broken, and ready everything for the morning, so that when the doors open again at dawn, all is fresh and full and prepared. This restoring of energy happens in the muscles and in the brain alike. Through the day, the busy tissues draw down their little hidden stores of fuel, spending them on all the labor of being awake and in sleep, with the demands of the day set aside. Those stores are quietly built back up again, the fuel laid by once more against the coming morning. The brain, in particular, which burns a great deal of energy for its size and never fully rests even in sleep, uses the night to restock what its constant work has spent, so that we wake with a mind that is not only clear but freshly fueled, ready for the thinking and feeling and doing of another day. Sleep refills the body's stores the way the tide refills a bay, quietly, completely, while no one is watching. And the body uses the night to set its inner balances right, to tend the delicate chemistry that keeps us well. Sleep helps to steady the levels of sugar in the blood and to balance the hormones that govern hunger and fullness, so that a well-rested body knows better when it is truly hungry and when it has had enough. Sleep helps to calm the low simmer of inflammation that the stresses of life can raise in the body, cooling it down, settling it, night after night, in ways far too many and too subtle to fully name. The sleeping body adjusts and tunes and rebalances itself, keeping the great, intricate machine of a living body running smoothly. And well. This tending of the body's chemistry reaches into some surprising corners. Sleep helps to keep in balance the two hormones that speak to us of hunger and of fullness. The one that tells us we have eaten enough, and the one that tells us we are hungry still. When we sleep well, these two stay in their proper balance, and our appetite is steady and true. When we go short of sleep, the balance tips so that a tired body often feels hungrier than it really needs to be, reaching for food it does not truly require. Sleep helps the body handle its sugar and its fuel wisely, keeping the levels steady, spending its energy well. In these quiet ways and 100 others, the sleeping body is not only mending its tissues, but tuning its whole inner workings, setting right the fine balances of its chemistry, so that a well-rested body is a body in harmony with itself. Part of what the night sets right is the clearing away of waste all day. As the body burns its fuel and works its tissues, it produces byproducts and leftovers that must be gathered up and carried off, the natural residue of a living, laboring body, and the quieter hours of sleep, when little new is being made and demanded, are when much of this clearing is done, the tissues rinsed, the waste swept away, the whole body tidied from within. We wake not only mended, but cleansed. The clutter of the day's chemistry cleared out, the inner spaces made fresh and clean again, ready to be filled with the labors of a new day. The mending reaches into every part, even the ones we never think of. The bones themselves are not the fixed and finished things we imagine, but living tissue, forever being broken down a little and built back up, remodeled and renewed. And this slow rebuilding of bone follows the body's daily rhythm and leans upon the night, deep within the gut, which labors through the day to break down our food, is given in the night a chance to slow and to rest and to repair its own delicate lining, which is renewed with remarkable speed. Worn cells constantly giving way to new, all through the body, in the bone and the gut and the blood and the skin. The same quiet story is being told of tissue worn by the day and restored by the night, of a body that spends itself in waking and remakes itself in sleep. Even the organs we never feel take their turn at maintenance in the night. The liver, that great tireless chemist of the body, which cleanses the blood and processes all we eat and drink, follows its own daily rhythm, doing much of its clearing and its housekeeping while we sleep. The kidneys change their pace in the dark, and even our need to rise and pass water eases in the night hours, so that the body may sleep on undisturbed, organ by organ, gland by gland. The whole inner household of the body keeps its own quiet schedule of rest and repair, tuned to the turning of night and day, so that when morning comes, every part of us is ready once again. Now, all of these healing works, this whole vast labor of repair, do not happen evenly through the night. They are gathered most of all into the deepest sleep, the slow, sound, heavy sleep that comes especially in the early hours of the night. This deepest sleep, which is sometimes called slow wave sleep, for the great slow rhythms that roll through the brain within it, is the body's prime time for physical repair. It is in this deep sleep that the growth hormone pours out in its greatest surge, that the tissues do much of their mending, that the body sinks most fully into its healing. This is the sleep the body craves most deeply, when it is worn or hurt or ill, the sleep it reaches for first and holds on to longest. Those first deep hours of the night, before the dreams grow rich toward morning, are the great healing hours, the golden time of the body's repair. It helps to know a little of the shape of a night's sleep, to see why this is so. Across a night, we do not sleep at a single steady depth. We move in long, slow cycles, each one lasting around an hour and a half, sinking down into deep sleep and rising again toward lighter sleep and dreams, over and over, several times before morning. But the two kinds of sleep are not spread evenly. Through the night, the deep, sound, healing sleep comes richest in the first part of the night, in those early cycles after we first lie down, while the dreaming sleep grows longer and richer toward the dawn. And so the body does much of its deepest physical repair in the earlier hours, in the profound stillness of the night's first deep sleep, before the sky begins to pale. The first half of the night belongs, in large part, to the healing of the body. The second half belongs more to the dreaming mind. This is also why If we are woken suddenly from the deep sleep of the early night, we can feel so heavy and confused, so reluctant to rise, for the body has been pulled up out of the very depths of its repair, out of the soundest and most healing sleep there is. Left undisturbed, it would climb back toward the surface gently, in its own good time, rising and sinking through its cycles until it was ready to wake on its own. The grogginess of a deep sleep waking is really the feeling of a body drawn away too soon from its important nighttime work. It is a small sign of just how deep and how absorbing the healing of that first deep sleep truly is. And when at last the night's long work is done, and the sky begins to lighten beyond the curtains, the body readies itself gently to wake. The stress hormone rises again to lift us. The temperature begins to climb back up. The deep sleep gives way to lighter sleep and dreams. Slowly, softly, the body brings itself back toward the surface, back toward the day, carrying with it all the repairs of the night. And we wake, not with a jolt, but with a gradual surfacing into a body that has been quietly made whole while we slept. But all of that still lies ahead in the morning. For now, there is only the going down, the long, slow descent into the deep and healing dark, and the brain, that most delicate and hard-working organ of all, does its own healing in the night as well. Like the rest of the body, the brain works hard all day and takes on the wear of its labor, and it too must be restored. During deep sleep, a gentle process of cleansing sweeps through the brain, a quiet tide that helps to wash away the waste that builds up during the waking hours, clearing and refreshing the tissue of the mind. So, even as the body mends its muscles and its skin and its heart, the brain is quietly rinsing itself clean, tending to its own repair, so that we wake not only rested in body, but clear in mind. For the brain, too, is part of the body, and it too grows weary with a day's hard use, and it too must be restored. In sleep, it rests its busiest parts, quiets its ceaseless daytime chatter, and lets that gentle tide move through to carry off the residue of its labors. And so we wake with a head that feels clearer and lighter, the fog of the long day washed away, the mind refreshed along with the body it lives in. Body and brain are healed together in the same dark, quiet hours by the same faithful sleep. It is a remarkable thing when you gather it all together, all that the body accomplishes in a single night of sleep. The growth hormone poured out into the blood, the cells repairing and renewing themselves, the skin remaking its surface, the immune system marshalling its defenses, the wounds knitting closed, the muscles rebuilding, stronger than before, the heart slowing and resting, the energy restocked, the chemistry rebalanced, the bones and the joints repaired, the blood renewed, the waste swept away, the brain washed clean, all of it happening at once, silently, invisibly, while you lie still and know nothing of it. A whole hidden night of healing, tending the living body you will wake to in the morning. And all of it is beautifully coordinated, each part in time with the others, the whole vast effort unfolding in a set and practiced order through the night. The deep sleep comes first and calls forth the great surge of building. The hormones rise and fall in their turn. The heart slows, the blood flows, the cells divide, the defenses gather, each in its proper hour, each cued by the body's own clocks and rhythms. No one arranges it, no one oversees it, and yet it runs like the most intricate of clockwork, night after night, every part playing its role in time, a silent symphony of repair performed in the dark, of a sleeping body, with no conductor but the ancient wisdom written into life itself. There is a quiet wonder in the thought that we are, each of us, being slowly and constantly remade. The body you wake in tomorrow will not be quite the body you go to sleep in tonight. Some of its worn cells will have been replaced with new ones. Some of its damage will have been mended. Its stores will be refilled. Its balances reset. Its tissues repaired. Its defenses renewed. Across the years, in this nightly way, the body is forever renewing itself, forever letting go of the old and the worn, and building the fresh and the new, so that we are less like a fixed and finished thing, and more like a river, always flowing, always changing, always being made again. And so much of that making, that endless, gentle renewal, happens in the dark, while we sleep and know nothing of it. This need to sleep and to heal is not ours alone. Every creature that we know of sleeps or does something very like it, and in nearly every one of them sleep seems to serve the same deep purpose of rest and restoration. The great and the small, the swift and the slow, all must stop and lie still and let their bodies mend. So vital is this need that living things will risk much to meet it, lying quiet and defenseless for hours in a dangerous world, because the healing that sleep brings is worth even that risk. Nature does nothing so costly without good reason, and the reason for sleep, written into nearly every animal that has ever lived, is in large part this: the deep necessity of rest. The body's need to stop and repair itself. When you lie down tonight, you join every living thing that has ever slept in the oldest and most natural act of healing there is. Scientists have long wondered why sleep should exist at all, why nature would leave every creature so vulnerable for so many hours of its life. And though the full answer is still being worked out, much of it seems to come down to this very thing: to repair and to restoration. A body that never slept would be a body that never fully mended, that wore down faster than it could be built back up. Sleep, in this view, is the price that life pays for the wear of being alive. The nightly setting right of all that the day undoes. It is not a flaw in the design of living things, not a weakness to be overcome, but a deep and necessary part of how a body stays whole across a lifetime. To sleep is not to fail to be awake. It is to do one of the most important things a living body ever does. And the body asks for more of this healing sleep exactly when it needs it most. After a day of hard labor or long exertion, we sleep more deeply, our bodies claiming the extra repair that the extra effort has earned. When we are ill or hurt, we grow drowsy and sleep long, the body demanding the hours it needs to mend. When we are growing in childhood and youth, we sleep more than at any other time of life. The body knows its own needs and adjusts its sleep to meet them, reaching for deeper and longer rest whenever there is more mending to be done. It is a system of quiet wisdom, forever weighing the wear against the repair and calling for more rest whenever the balance tips. We spend a great share of our lives in this healing sleep, something close to a third of all our years lying still in the dark. It can seem, at first glance, like time lost, a vast stretch of life spent doing nothing at all. But it is nothing of the kind. It is among the most valuable time we will ever spend, for it is the time in which the body keeps itself alive and whole. Without it, the wear of our days would gather, and gather with nothing to mend it, and we could not last. That third of life given over to sleep is not lost at all. It is the price of the other 2/3, the quiet nightly repair that makes a long life of waking possible. We do not waste that time. We are kept alive by it. And here is what is most reassuring of all. The thought to rest into as you lie here now. You do not have to do any of it. Not one part of this great nightly healing requires your effort, or your attention, or your will. It happens on its own, as naturally and as surely as your heart beats and your lungs breathe. Entirely without your help, you do not have to try to heal. You do not have to do anything at all but sleep and let your body do what it has always known how to do, what it has done every night of your life. The quiet, faithful work of mending itself in the dark. All that is asked of you is that you rest and allow it. There is something profoundly trustworthy about this. Your body has been healing itself in sleep since before you were born, and it has never once needed to be told how. It knew from your very first night exactly what to do, and it has done it faithfully every night of your life since, through all your days, seen and unseen, without thanks and without fail. It does not falter, and it does not forget. Whatever the day has asked of you, however far you have pushed yourself, the body waits patiently for the night, and then it sets quietly to work, making you whole again. You can trust it completely. You can hand yourself over to it entirely, as you do each night, and let it carry you down into the healing dark, sure in the knowledge that it knows the way and will tend you and will bring you safely up again into the morning. This is why sleep is so deeply healing, and why a good night's sleep can feel like such a gift, and why we so often wake from deep rest feeling not only less tired, but genuinely restored, renewed, made new. It is because we have been made new a little in the night. The body we wake in is not quite the same body we lay down in. It has been mended in 100 small ways, repaired and replenished and rebalanced and cleaned, tended through the dark hours by its own quiet wisdom. We rise In the morning, a freshly repaired version of ourselves, ready to meet another day. You have felt this on the mornings after a long and perfect sleep, when you wake before the alarm, clear and light and easy in your body. The aches of yesterday gone, the weariness lifted, a quiet well-being humming through you that you did not have to earn and cannot quite explain. That feeling is the feeling of a body that has been healed in the night. It is the plain physical sense of repair, of restoration, of a body set right while you slept. We do not often stop to marvel at it. This ordinary miracle of waking renewed, but it is a miracle all the same, performed for us freely, night after night, by the quiet wisdom of our own sleeping bodies. And people have always known this in their bones, even when they could not explain it. In every age, in every land, the sick have been told to rest, the weary to sleep, the hurt to lie still and let time and slumber do their work. Mothers have sung their children to sleep, knowing somehow that sleep would mend them. The old wisdom of rest, handed down through countless generations, has turned out to be true in every particular, confirmed now by all that science has slowly learned about the healing night. There is something reassuring in that the plainest and most ancient advice to get a good night's sleep, to rest and let yourself recover, was right all along. The oldest medicine is also one of the best, and it costs nothing, and it asks nothing, and it waits for you faithfully every night. And if some nights are short, or broken, or restless, as some nights always will be, there is no need to lie there worrying over it. For worry only makes rest harder to find. The body is forgiving. It is well used to the ups and downs of a life. And it makes up for a poor night with the next good one, reaching for its deepest, most healing sleep whenever at last it is allowed. One rough night does no lasting harm. The body simply waits, patient as ever, for its next chance to mend you, and takes it gratefully when it comes. So even the thought of sleep can be a gentle one tonight, free of any pressure, any effort, any need to get it perfectly right. However this night unfolds, your body will take whatever rest it is given and turn it faithfully toward your healing. So there is nothing you need to do now but let go and let the healing begin. Let your body grow heavy. Let the tension drain from your muscles, from your shoulders, from your face. Let your breathing slow and deepen and settle. Somewhere in the dark, the melatonin is rising and the temperature is falling and the heart is beginning to slow and the first deep sleep is gathering to carry you down into the healing places. You need only let it take you. Feel your body settling now, part by part, into the bed. Feel the weight of your head upon the pillow and let it be heavy. Feel your shoulders and let them drop and soften. Feel your back and your hips sinking down, supported, held. Feel your arms grow heavy and your hands fall open. Feel your legs and your feet releasing the last of the day. With every breath, a little more of the holding lets go. A little more of the day drains away, and the body sinks a little deeper into rest. And as it sinks, the healing gathers in each quiet part. As it lets go, the mending quietly begins, unhurried, gentle, sure. There is nothing to do now but soften and sink, and let the night take you down into its care. Let the day go with all its small wear and weariness, and trust that in the night it will all be quietly mended, the worn made whole, the tired made rested, the strained made easy again. You are in good and ancient hands, the hands of your own body, which has healed itself in sleep since the very beginning and knows the way perfectly and needs nothing from you but the letting go. Picture it for a moment from the outside, a dark and quiet room, a still house, a body at rest beneath the blankets, breathing slowly, deeply, at peace. To any watcher, nothing at all is happening, only a person sleeping in the dark. And yet, within that stillness, hidden entirely from view, the whole vast work of healing is underway. The growth hormone flowing, the cells repairing, the heart resting, the wounds closing, the defenses gathering, the stores refilling, all of it silent, all of it unseen, all of it wrapped inside the simple quiet of a sleeping body. That is the secret held within every darkened bedroom in the world. tonight in every sleeping house, under every quiet roof, stillness on the outside, and within, the tireless, gentle work of healing. And tonight, in one of those quiet rooms, that sleeping, healing body is your own. It is easy to take the body for granted, to notice it only when it aches or fails, and to forget the quiet faithfulness with which it carries us through our lives. But tonight, as you lie here, you might spare it a moment of gentle gratitude. This body of yours has borne you through every single day you have ever lived. It has healed every hurt you have ever taken, mended every small wound, fought off every passing sickness, and it has done the greater part of that healing here, in the dark, while you slept, asking nothing at all in return. And it will do so again tonight. There is something tender in that. A lifelong companion that tends you faithfully in the night, and has since the very beginning, and will for as long as you live. Let it care for you now, as it always has. So rest now. Sink down. Let the long, slow healing of the night begin, and carry you and mend you. While you sleep, there is nothing left to do. The day is ending. The work of healing is not yours to perform, only yours to allow. So let go now, completely, and give yourself over to the night and to the faithful body that will tend you through it. Let the dark come up around you like a warm and rising tide. Let the slow, deep sleep gather and lift you and carry you down, and rest and be mended, while the long, quiet night does its gentle work upon you, the body slowing, softening, letting go, the quiet work of mending in the dark, the heart at rest, the breath grown slow, the body healing itself gently through the night and sleep, drawing you down into the deep and on toward morning.